It's 3:18 a.m. and I'm looking at something that I've written, and it's actually a poem. And the poem, the question is, or the statement is, bear the task. And the poem is a poem that I've got and that I've looked at for many, many years. And it basically says that I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is just an employer and he gives what you ask, but once you've set your wages, why? You must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire only to learn dismayed that any wage I'd ask of life, life would have willingly paid. And I think this is what I want to share with you this morning, is that this is the way that life works. You simply set a goal and then you do whatever it takes to bear that task. And if you're willing to do that, you're going to be successful. I see a lot of people, they've got a job. And that job is providing for a certain lifestyle. But if you want more, and your job is not giving you that you want, then change it. I see too many people in this world that is willing to settle for average. And you were not born to be average. You were born to become the best that you can be. You were born to have a life of abundance. You were born to have everything that you want. But average people settle for being average because they're not willing to bear the task. I see there's a lot of people that are frustrated or irritated because they do not get what they want. But they're not willing to do whatever it takes. So if you look at the formula for riches, it starts with a symbol that is a symbol for intent. And intent simply means it's a desire. Now, I've read the other day in Tim Ferriss' book, he says, or a person says, that desire is a contract that you make with yourself to be unhappy until you achieve the thing that you want. And that to me is actually the way that life works. Now, we've got two choices. We can want this thing for the rest of our lives, or we can bear the task and do whatever is necessary and get that in 5 to 7 years. For example, in 2000 or in 1982, I decided that I don't want the situation to be in the situation that I was in. And it changed. In 84, I made another decision, and that was to become seriously rich. And it took me a couple of years just to figure out what to do to get that breakthrough in order to start with this process. But once I've made the breakthrough in 87, when I realized, but it's actually the lower the risk, the higher the growth. Once I've made that breakthrough and that you don't need money, but that you have to bear the task. 7 years later, we were financially free. 7 years. But in that 7 years, I've done what I was supposed to do. And I've done in 7 years what average people, normal people, will not do in a lifetime, because normal people will never be able to retire financially free. So decide what it is that you want. Decide the lifestyle that you want. I wanted to give back. I wanted to be in a position where I can teach. This is what I do. And this morning I woke up just after 2, and I've got a little ritual. I've done the ritual. I'm now busy writing, and I'm busy looking at my journal, and I'm looking at this piece that I wrote, right? And this piece is simply, don't settle. Don't settle. And maybe I wrote it for myself. You know, set your goals high and then decide that you will do whatever it takes in order for you to achieve that goal, that you are willing to bear that task. But in order to bear a task, you have to take action. You must do whatever it takes in order to achieve it. And you must commit to that. Just to say, I'm going to do it, is not going to help it. You know, you must be willing to actually go and do it and bear the task. And I think that is the key. So, determine what is it that you want in life. Determine, I've got what I call a project evaluation process, or a business or an investment evaluation process. And before I go on a holiday, I follow basically the same process. And that process is, am I willing to put in the time? Am I willing to put in the effort? Am I willing to change my mindsets and adopt new belief systems? Am I willing to learn the competency and gain the competency in order to be able to do what it's going to take me to do, and to gain the experience and to gain the knowledge and to gain the practical application and the skill sets that I need in order to be able to do it. If you're not prepared and willing to do that, why the heck do you try? Why the heck do you set yourself up for failure? Because if you desire something, and it's a contract that you make with yourself to be unhappy, and if you know that you're not going to do what it takes in order to achieve that you desire, you're going to bloody stay unhappy for the rest of your life. That to me is crazy. And this is what mediocrity do to people. This is what this is what it does to people. I don't want you to stay average. Now, if you want to, no problem with that. But what I'd like to tell you this morning is, please don't settle for anything less than what you want. You know, live a spectacular life. Live a life, because we've got all the possibilities, all the probabilities. It's there. I can't wait for this, for today. Today, with all the opportunities that is going to present me. You know, with all it's incredible. It's incredible to be alive, to be able to read, to meditate, to contribute, to grow. This portion of the day, this is where I'm growing. But at the same time, I've got this urgent need to be able to share and to contribute. I don't know, maybe this little thing can help you. And maybe you can go and look at this little poem, you know. So how do you take action in order to bear the task? First of all, decide what it is that you want. Write it down. And decide, is this really what you want? And then measure the desirability, or the desirability. In other words, if it's not a 10 out of 10, don't waste your time, because you're not going to do it. This desire must be so great, and that is going to drive you to do whatever it takes in order to do it. And 99% of the time, there has to be an incredible emotional why, a reason why you want to do it. Maybe it's because of something that you've seen in your life, or maybe it's because of something that you've experienced. I've experienced how it feels to be poor. And I didn't want to keep on being poor, right? So determine. And then the second thing is, determine what actions you are prepared to take, what skills you're prepared to learn, what competency you're going to master in order to get to that goal. And then keep on paying the price until you reach that goal. Because unless you're prepared to do that, you're not going to do it. You know, in my previous life as a financial planner, I would drive and I would see these people begging on the street corners or selling stuff. And I'm not sure what they've made, but let's assume that they've made R1. And they had to sell like 100 of these little gadgets in order to make R100 for the day. And if you make 100 Rand for the day, I think it's 3,000 approximately per month. But I sat there in an air-con car, and I would look, and I would recite this little poem. And this poem simply says, my wage. I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store, for life is just employer and it gives what you ask. But once you've set your wage, why? You must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire only to learn dismay, that any wage I'd ask of life would have willingly paid. And this is the difference. That guy worked for a whole day, standing in the sun, begging people, trying to sell. I'm sitting in an air-con car, in one of the greatest, nicest cars around, and listening to the greatest music, inspirational stuff, staying in an incredible house. But you know what? I've bear the task because I was willing to learn the competency to be able to afford this lifestyle that I've got. And this is what I wish for you, to live your life and to reach your dreams. But I can tell you one thing, you're not going to do that unless you are prepared to bear the task. Thanks for your time. I see there's one single person that is watching me at this time of the day here in South Africa, but I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm not sure if I'm going to post this, but I've actually enjoyed it. Have a great and a wonderful day.